Have you ever felt like the world was crashing down on you? Like every step forward was met with a new wall, higher and stronger than the last. We all face moments that test our limits, moments where giving up feels like the only option. Today, I want to tell you a story. It's not about a superhero with magical powers, but about an ordinary man who discovered an extraordinary strength within himself, a man who refused to break. Let's call him Alex. Alex wasn't born into greatness. He grew up in a small, forgotten town where opportunities were as scarce as rain in a desert. From a young age, life seemed determined to teach him the meaning of hardship. His family struggled, dreams felt like a luxury they couldn't afford, and the future looked like a long gray road. He watched his friends leave, chasing promises in big cities, while he stayed behind, tied down by duty and circumstance. The weight on his shoulders was immense, and the silence of his small world was deafening. He felt invisible, a forgotten character in someone else's story. His first real venture was a small workshop he built with his own hands. It was his beacon of hope. He poured every ounce of his energy, every penny he'd saved, into this dream. He worked from dawn until long after the sun had set, his hands calloused and his body aching. For a while it seemed like his hard work was paying off. The workshop began to thrive, a small flicker of success in his life. But then a fire, sparked by faulty wiring in the old building next door, turned his dream to ash overnight. He stood there, watching the flames consume everything he had built. In that moment, despair was a cold, heavy blanket. He had lost it all. Many would have given up. Many would have said, "That's it, I'm done." And honestly, who could blame them? But as Alex sifted through the smoldering ruins, something inside him shifted. It wasn't a sudden burst of heroic energy. It was a quiet, stubborn whisper. It said, "This is not the end." He saw the faces of his family, the people who depended on him. He remembered the feeling of pride he had when a customer smiled, happy with his work. This loss was devastating, but it wasn't going to be his final chapter. This was the moment Alex discovered the first pillar of true resilience, acceptance without surrender. He accepted the reality of his loss, but he refused to surrender his spirit to it. So he started again from zero. He took on odd jobs, swallowing his pride, working for others in the very trade he had once mastered. Each day was a battle. He faced ridicule from some who saw him as a failure, a man who had flown too close to the sun. He faced his own inner demons, the voices of doubt that screamed at him in the quiet of the night. There were days he could barely get out of bed, the emotional exhaustion feeling like a physical illness. This is a part of the journey we often don't talk about. Emotional strength isn't about not feeling pain. It's about feeling it fully and still choosing to move forward. It's about waking up and deciding to fight for one more day, even when your heart is heavy. During this time, Alex started to learn. He read books, he watched videos, he talked to people who had faced their own fires, literal or metaphorical. He realized that hardship wasn't just a random punishment, it was a forge, it was a brutal, painful, and unwilling teacher, but a teacher nonetheless. He learned that every setback carried a lesson, every failure a seed of future success. The fire had destroyed his workshop, but it hadn't destroyed his skills, his knowledge, or his determination. In fact, it had ignited something new within him, a deeper understanding of what he was truly capable of. Slowly, painstakingly, he began to rebuild, not just his workshop, but himself. He found strength not in grand gestures, but in small, consistent actions, waking up on time, completing one small task, helping a neighbor. Each small victory was a brick laid in the foundation of his new life. He learned to control his focus. Instead of dwelling on the mountain of problems ahead, he focused on the single step he could take right now. This is a powerful secret of the resilient. They break down overwhelming challenges into manageable actions. They don't try to conquer the whole mountain in a day. They just focus on taking the next step, and then the next, and then the next. Years passed. A new workshop stood where the old one had burned. It was smaller, more modest, but it was built on a foundation of something far stronger than concrete, experience and unbreakable will. But life, as it often does, had another test in store. A severe economic downturn hit the region. Businesses closed, people lost their jobs, and an air of hopelessness settled over the town once more. Alex's business, which had just found its footing, was hit hard. Orders dried up, the phone stopped ringing. He was facing a different kind of fire now, a slow, silent one that threatened to starve his dream rather than burn it. He saw the same fear and despair in the eyes of his neighbors that he had once felt himself. But this time Alex was different. The man who had been forged in the fire was not so easily rattled. He knew that complaining or waiting for a miracle wouldn't solve anything. He had to adapt. He started looking for new opportunities, new ways to use his skills. He noticed that while big projects were on hold, many people needed small repairs around their homes, things they could no longer afford to hire expensive companies for. So he pivoted. He started a mobile repair service, offering affordable, reliable help to his community. His new venture wasn't glamorous. It was hard, gritty work, but it was work, and more importantly, it was a service. He wasn't just fixing leaky pipes and broken fences. He was fixing a little piece of his community's spirit. He became a symbol of hope. People would say, if Alex can keep going after all he's been through, so can we. He organized community skill shares, teaching young people basic carpentry and repair skills, giving them a sense of purpose and a way to earn a little money. He didn't just survive the downturn. He helped his community endure it with him. He had transformed his personal struggle into a source of collective strength. This is the ultimate stage of resilience. It's when your strength is no longer just for you. It's when you use your experience, your scars, to light the way for others. Alex's story isn't just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. He didn't just return to where he was before the fire. He became more compassionate, more innovative, more connected to the people around him. His hardship gave him a depth of character and a clarity of purpose he never would have found in a life of ease. So what can we learn from the man who refused to break? First, that resilience is not the absence of suffering, but the courage to move through it. It's a muscle you build through struggle, not something you're born with. Second, focus on what you can control. You can't always control the fire or the economic storm, but you can control your response, your actions, and your attitude. Take it one step at a time. Third, every hardship holds a lesson. Look for it, learn from it, let it make you wiser and stronger. And finally, true strength is found in service to others. When you lift others up, you lift yourself up in the process. Your story might not involve a literal fire, but we all have our own battles. Maybe it's a career setback, a personal loss, a health challenge, or just the overwhelming feeling that you're not where you want to be in life. Remember, Alex, remember that inside you is a quiet, stubborn whisper that will not be silenced. You have the capacity to endure, to adapt, and to grow stronger from the very things that are trying to break you. Don't let your struggles define your ending. Let them be the beginning of your greatest chapter. You too can be the one who refuses to break. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more content on building a stronger, more resilient life. Share your own stories of resilience in the comments below. Let's build a community of people who lift each other up. Until next time, stay strong.